So you're 13 years old. You're at the Tryon School for Boys, a juvenile delinquent center in upstate New York, and you're in trouble there, so you're headed to an area to be punished. And it was almost at that point that something happened. What led to you deciding to pursue boxing?
Well, when I was in the detention home, it's almost like it's considered like the hole for the juvenile detention. It's like the hole, so I'm in the back room in the hole. But I see through my window, I see people from the other side getting carried in on the other side. And they got like ribs are hurting and they got the jaw, they got ice pack, but they're happy. So I said, what's going on over there? I'm thinking like, oh, we're having a war. We're having a gang fight over there. Yeah, let's war. But these guys are happy. No. They said, we're boxing with Mr. Stewart. What? And so I watched these guys and I said, what? Did you see these guys getting beat up? Hurt ribs, bruised jaw, eye. And but they're happy that they went through this. So I said, well, I can go over there and beat this guy. He was no big guy. I was heavy set guy. He was like 165, 70-pound white guy, slim looking. I could go slug him.
He nailed you pretty good.
Yeah, he hit me in the stomach. I never felt that feeling before. Now that I'm wow, that's so crazy. Now that I'm experienced, I've never felt that feeling again. Now sometimes when I used to box, boom, he hit me in the stomach. You feel that same feeling, but it goes away within seconds. But being a young kid, you don't know it's gonna go away within seconds. So within those 3 seconds, 4 seconds, you're trying to breathe, and you can't breathe. And the closest thing to death I know is not breathing. And I freaked out. And then a few seconds passed and it went away. And I said, well, can you teach me how to do that? And this is the mugging theory. I wanted to learn how to be a tough street fighter before I can do. But he had a different idea for me. He had a different idea. And he took me to Cus, and Cus met me at 13 years old. And as soon as he met me and saw me box, he started, this crazy guy. He started planning my whole career and my whole life out. All right, we're gonna win the nationals, we're gonna win the local tournament here, we're gonna win this tournament here, we're gonna win this one, you're gonna win the Olympic trials, then we're gonna get you the heavyweight champion, we're gonna get $1 million in your first fight as a pro, then we're gonna get you into the heavyweight championship, we're gonna build you up right, we're gonna fight you constantly, and we're gonna make you the youngest heavyweight champ in the world. And for some weird reason, I was only 13, I didn't want to appear that I was afraid. Right. And he said, are you ready for the job at hand? And I said, yes, I am. But I had no idea what he had in store. I had no idea. Just didn't know. I was so ignorant, and yes, I was an ignorant little kid that thought I knew it all. I didn't want him to think I wanted him to think I was tough. I was only 13. Well, this guy's 70, so but I wanted him to think I was tough.
How about the first time he watched you spar Cus D'Amato?
Well, he thought it was impressive. I was a little emotional. I wanted to fight tough because I felt embarrassed because my nose was bleeding, and he thought that was cool. He thought I had heart, I was tough, I guess. As time went on, I've heard that. But I thought I let him down because I got my nose bloody. But when I came to Cus, I wasn't that elusive enough, so I used to get hit a lot. So once I got on the Cus train, I didn't get hit as much. I didn't have bloody noses no more. And things just went, it's wow, it just went so fast. This guy, I wish he would have saw me. I wish he would have saw my children and stuff. It's really interesting guy. Didn't care about money and nothing. Just like me, it's a glory junkie.
How would you best describe the type of man he was?
It's cold-blooded disciplinarian. It's total belief in discipline.
How did your relationship evolve with him over the years?
Some say it could be like a son-father relationship, and that because it was intimate. It was just passionate. He got me a little 12-year-old kid, and he started training. He adopted me legally when my mother died, But it was just no emotions attached. He never wanted to be emotionally attached to anything. You know what I mean? He really tried to always, I don't know what happened in his life, but something must have happened in his life where his emotions let him down, but he never allowed his emotions to get involved with anything. If someone died that he cared about, it, he's always, till the day he dies, he's always working on improving his still emotions. He's working on improving this. He's always in life working on how he's going to improve his discipline and improve this. Things that are really so far-fetched now that I look at it, He's always improving himself, always looking for a battle to fight or something to do, It's to keep himself active. And that's just what he was.
Even though he was that way, how emotional did your relationship with him become?
It's as emotional as it can get, That's the only problem I don't understand in my life is really, who's this guy? How you get involved in my life, and how did I get here? Talking to you, that's just been the biggest question of my whole life. That I deal with myself. Who am I? All of a sudden I started from here. I'm some guy robbing houses and mugging people. The next thing you know, hey, we champ of the world. You know, it came out just like that. Just as I'm explaining it to you, just meteoric speed. Click, click, juvenile detention guy, robber, heavyweight champ of the world. That quick. And it's just, of course, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. There's no way I could have prepared myself to handle that.
And he brought you around, too. How much confidence did he instill in you?
Oh, man. It's crazy. I thought I could fly if he said it. That's just the way it is. You know, young kids, they had nobody. Wow. Well, a lot of kids, like I look at my son, and there's people that tell him that he's good. There's people that tell him that you're sensational, and you're like your father, you're like this, but he still didn't do anything to prove it. So he really doesn't believe it. See, everything Cus told me, I believed it because I achieved it.
How important was that confidence to your life?
Well, you know, confidence breeds success, and success breeds confidence. And I'm a strong believer that when it's applied properly, that it was past a genius. There's nothing like confidence once it's applied properly.
What would you and Cus D'Amato both talk about?
Confidence and how to beat the greatest fighters in the world. We talk about the greatest fighters, then we talk about how you can beat them. It's really crazy stuff. I look at myself now, I'm 45 years old, and I'm giving interviews about this. I feel like such a dope. It's a dinosaur talking about this stuff, how I used to think as a kid, you know what I mean? How would you beat this guy? How would we beat this guy? How would you beat Joe Louis? How would you beat Dempsey or Ali? And we actually used to talk about all these questions and stuff.
He then passes away months before you would go on to be the youngest heavyweight champion in history. The impact his death had on you would be what?
Everything he told me was real, but he never told me that once he died, if he disappeared, that everybody that he said was his friends would turn against him. You know, I never knew that, you know. Because once he passed away, all his friends turned against him. And they wanted to attack me for what it was, money or get more fame, but they never did when he was alive. All the people that he considered was his friends and all this stuff, once they died, maybe because he forced these guys to like me. He pushed me on these guys. I don't know. He told all these guys great things about me. These guys said no, but it happened, you know? They thought Cus was weird, too. Even the people that was his friends, they thought it was a bit weird. I know now that I came on the scene, they must have said, wow, that Cus is, wow. Let this guy go on us. That's just, I was bitter, and I wanted, I don't know, I was angry. You know, I was just a little kid when I was champ and doing all this stuff. I was still bitter. I wanted to make people pay for him. And the only one that paid was me, but that's just the thought I had in my mind, you know?
You said about him after he passed away, and I believe you were around 19 at the time, and I quote, "When I'd get up in the morning, he'd make me breakfast. Now he's not around anymore. God, I'm going to do well, but when I come down to it, who really cares? I like doing my job, but I'm not happy being victorious. I fight my heart out and give it my best, but when it's over, there's no Cus to tell me how I did, no mother to show clippings to."
Yeah, I might have said something like that. Wow.
This is 19 at the time you said that.
I became jaded, a lot jaded since then, you know? I don't really think about those things that much.
How much film would you watch with Cus?
Just, well, I would watch more with him, more without him, but he didn't like watching him that much. But I used to say, now, Cus, tell me about this guy. Did you know this guy? Most of the guys that I watched, Cus knew personally. What
sort of fighters would you enjoy watching film of?
Just the most exciting ones. Some of them are greater than that. There's some fighters that are better than the exciting fighters, but they don't make you as happy as the exciting fighters. They may be better fighters. They may could beat that guy, but that guy's more charismatic a fighter than he is.
Right. Who were the exciting ones? You really identified with Sonny Liston, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I liked Sonny Liston and Jack Dempsey because I liked that whole. They brought the intimidation factor into boxing. You know, they made it where a guy who's better than you you can beat him because you allow him to shut down all his instincts because he's intimidated. So that made the whole dynamics of boxing exciting to me. That a guy in the normal circumstances would beat you, but just because he's intimidated, he's gonna lose because he can't perform under his normal circumstances by being intimidated that he could if he wasn't intimidated.
And even when you were around 19 too, I think you said that if you had continued screwing around to the extent that you were over the previous 6 years, you would be in jail or possibly even dead. How much credit do you give to Cus D'Amato from preventing that from happening?
Well, listen, I don't know if he could get any credit for that because after he left, wow, I shouldn't say, know what Cus gave me? He gave me tools. That's why Cus gave me tools. Just gave me tools. You know, sometimes the world has changed. Maybe they don't work as good as they did back then, but he gave me tools, you know.
What type of tools?
Just never to give up. You know, that's something that I realize. You just don't realize it, that everybody then equipped with that. That it's very easy to give up. And matter of fact, it's relieving to give up. You know.
For more clips from this interview, visit GrahamBensinger.com.